Hi everyone, Tommy here with part 5 of my grand review, the Priest cards. Let's start right away with the legendary Confessor Paintress. So you can play this card on turn 7, but you really don't want to. So I think this card is really slow because you want to kind of play it on turn 9. So on turn 9 you get a 5/4 for 9 mana, which is pretty bad. You get to use your hero power. And you get another legendary random minion. So how much worth is a legendary minion? On average, it's about 5 mana. So then, yeah, you get 2 heal, and you get the 5/4 for 4 mana actually. So that's quite okay-ish. That card is already paying off. Sometimes you get something big like Ragnaros, and you will be super happy. Sometimes you get something small like Lower Walkout Show and you will be really sad, so I don't like the random mechanic. I think they could have made it something like summon a 5/5 Lightspawn. That would make this card also pretty good in my opinion, or maybe summon a Dark Cultist, something like that. That would be maybe a little bit too weak. I don't know really. No. Yeah, so I don't like the random mechanic, and I think this card is really slow. But still, I think this card will see play. You can combine it with the Fencing Coach. I'm still not really convinced of the Fencing Coach because when you play a 2/2 on turn 3, that's really weak. So you don't want to play this card on turn 3. And on turn 6, to prepare your Confessor Paintress, I don't know. That's also kind of weak. But on the other hand, Priest oftentimes has very situational cards. And cannot really play anything and just has to skip a turn. So, and then these skip turns you could fit in your Fencing Coach to prepare the Confessor Paintress. That kind of works out. And the Confessor Paintress also has this dream scenarios where you activate it like 2 times or even 3 times. I think when you are when you are able to activate this card 3 times, you just win the game because that's too much value, in my opinion. Yeah, so this is a card really meant for control decks, for the super late game, and yeah, some people managed that Priest usually doesn't have a BGH target, and with this minion you get BGH targets, but I still think that's not a big deal. So I think people will try this out, but depending on the meta, I think the meta will be a little bit too aggressive for this card, but still it will see some play in Constructed. In Arena it's strong, I would say, but also not totally overpowered. The next card is Confuse. This is a really funny card. I think it's more like a funny gimmick, but I still think that it will see play, because Priest is running usually minions like Death Lord or something like that, like really high health minions. And this can really be a surprise effect, so I think some genius deck builder will come and make a Confused deck. I think you don't want to ever include 2 of these in your deck, but 1 just for the surprise effect. I mean, when you have like a Death Lord out and maybe just a Northshire Cleric buffed with Powered Shield, and you play Confuse, you get a 5/1 and an 8/2, that's 13 surprise damage. That's kind of nice. And I think this card can be situational very good. So this is really like the standard Priest card, which is situationally extraordinary, like super excellent, but in many situations also really bad. Like almost all the Priest cards, they are very situational. That's why Priest is not played so often. That's why Priest is kinda competitive. Some players like Colento play Priest actually, but for the average type of gamer, Priest is not competitive enough. And yeah, I think Confuse, it's fun and it will see some play a little bit. Next card in line is Convert. Okay, I think this card is just bad. You draw a card which your opponent played for 2 mana. I don't know, you cannot really combine this with anything, and you just put it into your hand. No, I think this is too slow. Also in Arena, it's too slow in my opinion. Next card is Flash Heal. So when I first looked at this card, I thought, oh yeah, that's quite alright. You get 5 health. I thought you can combo this with Organized Soul Priest and your Wild Pyromancer, and it's very good against aggro. And Priest generally likes to heal stuff and get some buffs out of it, like Light Warden and that kind of thing. But then I thought, okay, there's already Light of the Naru, and that card is not seeing too much play. It's played in some priest decks, but in some other priest decks it doesn't make the cut. So I think Flash Heal is a little bit worse than Light of the Naru in most situations. Of course, when you're going for the killing blow with Organized Soul Priest to the enemy hero, then the Flash Heal can be better because you get 2 more damage, but and of course, if you are like almost about to die against a Face Hunter or something like that, then you want the 5 heal sometimes and not the Light of the Naru, but most of the time the Light Warden will be more interesting. So I think for Flash Heal, it's very close, but it doesn't make the cut. The next card is the Holy Champion. So in this card, I have some belief. I believe in it because just because of the combo with the Circle of Healing. So you play this card, it's kind of weak. You play 4 mana, you pay 4 mana for the 3/5. That's pretty weak. It trades kind of okayish against the Piloted Shredder, that's alright. Yeah, but most of the time the stats are pretty bad. But you can combine this with your Wild Pyro Circle of Healing combo. So you just play this card, and if the opponent doesn't have an answer, and let's say the opponent had 1 minion which could not kill your Holy Champion, and he played like 2 other minions, like 2 2-drops, that's pretty horrible for him. Because then you play your Wild Pyromancer and your Circle of Healing, and then this card gets like plus 10 attack. Then it's a 13/5, that's 13 damage. So I have small beliefs that we will see some combo priest deck with Holy Champion and with Light Warden. Not the Light Warden card, but the Light of the Naru. And yeah, I think this card is interesting. It might also be a little bit too weak for Constructed. I don't know, I'm not sure, but I have hopes for it, let's say. Alright, the next card is Power Word Glory. Yeah, I think this card is very strong against aggro. You get to heal, and maybe you even cripple an enemy minion that it cannot attack anymore. Or you taunt your own minion that the opponent has to attack your minion because he doesn't want you to restore 4 health every turn. And then you have the minions you want to buff, the Aegis and the Fiola. Yeah, I think this card is alright. And you have the chance to buff the Holy Champion. So yeah, I think this card will see some play. I don't know if it's really strong enough to see competitive play over a long period of time, but it's an interesting card. So people will experiment with it. The next card is Shadow Fiend. I think this card is a little bit too weak. 3/3 for 3 mana, that's very very weak. Even if you get the combo with the Noshaya Cleric and the Circle of Healing, you invest so many cards, and you need to have all the damaged minions, and then you draw a bunch of cards, and usually the priest cards, when you reduce them, I mean, if you draw another Circle of Healing, you're gonna be really sad. I don't know. Priest usually also doesn't run Emperor Thorson, so the 1 cost reduction isn't such a big deal for Priest. I think this card is slightly too weak, so I think it will not see play in Constructed. Spawn of Shadows. This card is definitely pushing Aggro Priest. The stats 5/4 are really aggressive, and the Inspire mechanic is also really really aggressive. I think it doesn't really matter for this card that it deals damage to both heroes. That's not a true issue for Aggro Priest. So you kind of want to play this with your Shadow Bomber and your Mind Blast and just blow the enemy away very fast. I like that they are pushing this deck a little bit more, because this deck is close to being viable and constructed. There are just little bit of the mechanics missing, because the priest hero power just doesn't finish the opponent. So when you are out of stuff, in contrast to the hunter can finish the opponent just with the hero power, but the priest cannot. So yeah, I like that they're pushing that, but I still think it's still a little bit too weak. Because the spawn of the shadows, yeah, you usually will kill that, I don't know, with your Death Bite, with your True Silver Champion, something like that. And yeah, so I still don't really believe in the Aggro Priest, but we will see about that. The next card is Wormwest Agent. Yeah, this card is very similar to the Holy Champion. As in the sense I have a little bit hope here that it will see play in Constructed. I have a very, very small hope that we will see some Dragon Priest decks. And when we have a 2 mana 2/4 taunt, that really stops aggro, okay? If you play on turn 2 this card, or even if you coin it on turn 1 against the Face Hunter, and the Face Hunter doesn't have the Hunter's Mark, then the Face Hunter is like shut down for 3 or 4 turns. Because you need to play your Eaglehorn Bow or activate a kill command with a beast, and that's a pretty huge investment for a Face Hunter. And also the Aggro Paladin, if he cannot coin the True Silver on turn 3 against this agent, then the Aggro Paladin will have a tough time to break through. Yeah. Also the Tempo Mage, well, yeah, they have Frostbolt. Yeah, but still, this card, it stops aggro, so I think there's a small hope for the Dragon Priest. Also, you kinda can combine it with the Twilight Whelp. Both cards very much depend on if you hold a dragon or not, so you really need to have a dragon in your hand to make this work. But if you play a Twilight Whelp on turn 1 and a Wormwest Agent on turn 2 and they both get buffed, you are stopping all the aggro. In that case, you are already kinda the aggro. You have 4 damage on the board, no disadvantage. So I think there's a small hope for the Dragon Priest. Thanks for watching. Please leave questions and critics in the comments as always.